Good morning. Whoever that is that's out there. There's a couple of you already. Interesting. Spell addition right? Hey, I might have spelled addition right. Good morning, Sharon. How are you? How's it look? Sound all right? Everything okay? Good morning, Carol. I love this. And Summer Nicole. Hello, sweetheart. Well, good morning, Donna Day. How are you? Hey, Donna, thank you very much for figuring out the cabin thing. That was a big deal to us. It could very well have been a tough thing, so thank you very much. So as you can probably tell by the names up there, two of the folks on this broadcast already are my relatives. What are you, a step cousin, Donna? Donna Dean, Donna Day? And Summer are both, and Summer is my niece. So welcome, everybody. So as you can probably tell by the names up there, two of the folks on this I don't have my show notes already are my relatives. What are you, a step cousin, Donna? That might have been a bit of a problem. And Summer are both, and Summer is my niece. So welcome, everybody. So as you can probably tell by the names up there, two of the folks on this I don't have my show notes already are my relatives. What are you, a step cousin, Donna? That might have been a bit of a problem. And Summer are both, and Summer is my niece. So welcome, everybody. So as you can probably tell by the names up there, two of the folks on this I don't have my show notes already are my relatives. What are you, a step cousin, Donna? Nice to be here, Sharon. That might have been a good day. I've missed you all. Summer are both, and Summer is my niece. So, welcome, everybody. So as you can probably tell by the names up there, two of the folks on this I don't have my show notes already are my relatives. Dan Day. How are you, step cousin Dan? I hate these times where we can't get together and Easter's and Thanksgivings and the like. So a couple of things before I get started. There is a delay between when I talk and when two of the Facebooks. I don't have my show notes already are my relatives. Dan Day. Comments are a little confused, so sometimes it helps if you get together if you're making a comment to talk about what it is you're doing. So a couple of things before I get started. There is a delay between when I talk and two of the almost 20 seconds today shows up on Facebook, or when I say it. Sometimes it helps if you get together. That's always confused about what it is you're doing. So a couple of things before I get started. More relatives delay. Look at that. When I names up there. Well, at least I got my relatives hanging out. That's 20 seconds today. So B is a former and that's step in. No, what were you? You were actually my aunt for a little while before I get started. Quite sure how. More relatives delay. I got a whole bunch of in-laws and step-laws and ex-wives of brothers and, you know. Well, at least I got my relatives hanging out. Oh, yeah, you are. Thank you, Carol, for letting me know. It should stop now. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, guys. Say twice. Once is enough. All right, hopefully the echo has gone away. Has it stopped? That's the whole question. We'll know shortly. All right. Well, I'm going to start now. Hopefully the sound is corrected. I did what I think I need to do to fix that, so I'll know here in a minute. So I am David or Day, and we do these herd over coffees. We do them in the mornings. I used to do one every day. Back in the old days, I didn't do any of these. And then when COVID hit, COVID was such a disaster. We all had to hide in our basements. We had to, we had to shelter in place, hunker in the bunker, all of that. And what I did when that was going on is I came down to my basement. You can see it here, where I live. And I decided I would go every day. And as soon as things lifted, man, I was so ready. I got out. I did all the things. I went to the art store. I went everywhere. But, like a lot of people, I'm now more aware that going out is risky. Since it's risky, I'm going to spend more time in the basement. Well, what do I do in the basement? Well, this is what I do. I call these crazy things heard over coffee. Cindy Perkins Marlowe helped us come up with that one. Today we're going to talk a bit about what I've been doing for the last month, because some of you have not seen me. I do a Friday evening show, but it's much more structured and it's not as much fun. Well, I decided to start doing these. So I'll be doing this on maybe once or twice a week, kind of depending on what's going on. I have a shift at the Art Source Gallery on Thursday, so I probably won't do the rest of this week. But just keep an eye. I'm pretty sure Tuesdays are going to work most times. So today we're going to talk about what we talk to ourselves, our internal talk. I call it self-talk. That's what the shrinks and the self-help people talk. We're going to just talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you some pictures. I set up a gallery, and I'm going to show a loop of that. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about my road trip to Alvord Desert and Steens, and that was fun. Oh, Miguel, I'm glad you're with us. Those of you who are regulars, and I think most of you are, let's see if I can get it over here. Miguel is a resident class clown, and there he is, chiming in. Thank you, folks. One of the reasons why I wanted to go back to the morning show is because it's much more looser and much more fun. I enjoy it. I'm not sure everybody likes it as much as I do, but oh man, I sure appreciate it. I got 3 hearts at the top of this comment list, and man, does that make me feel good. So thank you. Welcome back. We're going to talk about a little self-talk. I'm going to show you some pictures from my recent trip, and I think there's a loop in there with my initial point gallery. So let's get started. I have a hard time about what I tell myself. I call it self-talk. And see if I can go here. This is so true. You need to watch your thoughts because they become words. Watch your words because they become actions. Watch your actions because they become habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. Okay, hang on. I want to move this up here so you can see my beautiful face. Watch your habits because they become character, and watch your character because it becomes your destiny. I'm talking about this mostly because it's a problem that I personally have. I'm dyslexic. It made it very difficult for me to learn. It was undiagnosed until I was in college, so I have been told by myself and other people that I am stupid. I have something, I used to do something I called the stupid tax. If I made a mistake, it usually cost me money. Maybe I didn't order the right thing. I just ordered some parts and I didn't get the numbers right. That happens to me a lot. I called that a stupid tax. And it occurred to me that that's not a great way to look at it. There's not a whole lot I can do about this. I compensate well. I do a lot of things verbally. I do a lot of things with visually. That's why I become a photographer. Visuals work for me. Numbers, letters, that sort of thing, not so much. I can't really add a column of 10 numbers. The sort of things that all of you do just naturally in your head don't work for me. If you can see my show notes, it's a sea of little red lines and dashes and that sort of thing because I do not see the letters and numbers the way normal people do. Just something that's true, and it's taken me forever. So why am I talking about this with you? I think all of us have that internal dialogue, that thing that goes on, that talks to us, and we're always listening to other people and what they're saying about us. Sometimes we internalize those things. We decide that we're fat, or we're ugly, or we're not smart, or we're not fast, or we're old, or we're young, and we always just think about all that, and we internalize it, and because we internalize it, it becomes true. We become fat, we become ugly, we become stupid, we become inefficient, we become lazy. But really, we're not any of those things. We all have the capacity to do just about any damn well thing we want. You just have to understand that your self talk, what you internalize, what you hear, and what you tell yourself is extremely important. It's what you allow in, what you filter. So today we're going to talk about some of that sort of things. So we listen to others when we make mistakes, but we don't listen to others when we do something well. It's really hard to accept praise, but if you can accept praise, man, if you can just take it in, it's so much better, because people will tell you wonderful things, and they're true. I love every one of you, especially this crowd that I have over here on this list. It's amazing. I so greatly appreciate my friends. And you often tell me that I'm this or I'm that. It's really hard for me to accept that because I'm human. But if you tell me I've done something wrong or that I've taken a photograph out of focus, I concentrate on that. 100 people can tell me they like a picture, but if one of my friends, especially one of my photographer friends, says, oh, you might have oversaturated that or used this filter too much or that, that's all I hear. That's a terrible way to live life. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about some ways to get over that and move past that. But you just basically have to stop it. Not as easy as that, is it? But, instead of thinking I'm old, maybe you think you're experienced. Think about that. Think of all of the things you have learned. And if you're too young, well, the opposite is true. You've got all that energy. You can go and you can move and you can really kick ass because you have a whole lifetime ahead of you to learn. So that balance between experience and the ability to learn, those are both positives. They're the opposite side of the same thing, but they're both very positive. I've learned a ton. One of my favorite sayings is I've learned how to make the mistakes more than once, sometimes 7 or 8 times. So it's just amazing what you can do if you just watch your own words. So I talked earlier about the stupid tax. I don't say that anymore. I try really hard just to admit my mistakes. Sometimes if I check things 2 or 3 times, it's better, and I can move forward. It really helps to have editors. One of the reasons why I go on early is the system of setting up each and every one of these, the microphones and the cameras and all of that. And it's very difficult for me to do that sort of linear thinking. So I compensate. I go on 5 minutes early. You guys tell me that I've got 2 microphones on, and then that's not working. And usually we end up with a pretty good show. I wasn't able to connect the phone today. My camera's not working quite right. But if you adapt and you think about what you say, you tell yourself, instead of, I can't do this, you say, ooh, let's give this a try. That's pretty important. That's a great way to function. Another thing, I don't want to make this all about me, but it took me a long time to learn to accept that I'm an artist. I would often say, oh yeah, the artists and the photographers. My friend Tony's on here. He can certainly understand that. Tony and I are both in an amazing gallery. There are 40 people. Lots of them have years and years of experience. They have masters in fine arts. And then I'm just a photographer. Well, I'm more than a photographer. I have to concentrate on my work, what I can do to create my own work. I do the best I can, and it's pretty good. And I have to admit that. It's hard, very hard, especially if you're a humble person, to admit that you do good work. I do pretty good work, and I'm proud of it. So what can you do? What can you do to make your self-talk stronger? The simplest way is to do what I call flip the script. How do you flip the script? Well, instead of saying, I'm stupid, you say, I can learn. Instead of saying, I've never done it before, well, let's give it a try. Let's go down this road. Let's try something new. You might very well get an experience. You may still fail. Failure is not bad. Failure is just an excuse to try something else. It's too complicated. We often look at something and go, oh, that's too hard. That's too complicated. Well, maybe you can find a different angle. Maybe there's a way to go at it a different way. I don't have the resources is something that we often say. I just can't do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. Well, maybe you need to look at your priorities a little different, or look at what you do have. Way, way important to look at what you do have. What are your skills? What can you do? What can you bring to the table to get to that? I'm too lazy? Yeah, I can get that. A lot of us, especially in this time where we don't have a particular hard schedule, a set schedule, we don't have anything to do, it's really easy to say, man, I'll do that tomorrow. Well, maybe it's a matter of setting your priorities. What's important to you. Define what's important to you and find a way to do it. And again, instead of telling yourself you're too lazy, tell yourself, I got plenty of time to do it. There's just a subtle difference there. Oh, Miguel, you are a wonderful man. Let's see here. There's no way it will work. Boy, isn't that a stopping block. I can't do that. There's no way it's going to work. Well, how do you know it's not going to work until you've given it a try? Try. Try is really important. Try and fail. Try and succeed. How cool is that? It's too radical. Nobody's done it before. My friends will think I'm crazy. Well, if you're like me, your friends already think you're crazy, so that's not a stopping block. Quit worrying about what other people are saying. Think about what you are personally saying and find a way to get it done, to give it a try. I'm not talking about bragging. All you need to really do to be more positive, and I got to tell you, this has turned my life around. When I started thinking more positively, I'm not a huge fan of what they call, so I do believe in the power of positive speaking. I do not believe that if you think that there's going to be a Ferrari in your backyard, you're going to end up with a Ferrari in your backyard. However, it does very, very, very much mean that if you think positively, if you think you can do something, you will probably figure out a way to do it. You may fail along the line, but as long as you keep at it, we talk a lot of, in the morning, we talked a lot about the power of just getting it done. Get her done. So that is really cool. So what do you think? Are you going to be able to try this? Are you going to think a little bit more positively? Give me an example, of something that you've tried and maybe gotten through. I'm going to take a minute, have a cup of coffee. Again, that's a little heavy. Sorry, folks. Tell me if you like that, if you would like me to talk a little about sharing my experience. The other thing that you all ask very, very much about is you have told me that you would like to see more of my photography. So last week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, just basically a week ago, my friend Robert Riddle and I headed out. We headed to a place called, there's supposed to be, down here in the corner, there's supposed to be a picture. So I'll try to do this. Nah, you know what? This is no fun. Yeah, never mind. So this is Steens Mountain. This is above Alvord Lake. It's just a beautiful place. I'm going to hang on a second. Let's see if I can get this up here. Huh. Well, it's not going to let me put my picture in. It was on when I started this. Nope, not going to happen. So this is Alvord Lake. Beautiful place. I just love it. It's this is the top of Steens Mountain. And let's do this. Yeah, it still doesn't work. This is the top of Steens Mountain. It's just fantastic. It's a beautiful place, and we got a chance. We were out looking for wild horses and didn't really find any. Again, sometimes you got to try. We got to be a long ways away, but we went all the way to Burns that day. I don't know, 300-400 miles. Would have been 4 hours if we'd driven it straight. It took us the entire day, which was really fun. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. It would be really easy to talk yourself out of going. There's COVID. You're not sure where you're not going to get you're not going to be able to get enough food, all of that. So we packed extra. If we had to, we could sleep in the truck, and off we went. We took it out. Of course, it's he and I. We've been together a lot, so there's not a lot of risk of COVID between us. We're in what we call the bubble. He's one of my close friends, so he's probably more at risk for me catching it from, say, my wife, who's out more. But in general, we're, off we go. So we wandered around. We were looking for wild horses. We did not really find any. We found a couple bands, but they were too far away for us to photograph. And as you can suspect, wild horses are afraid of people, and it's worse in those areas where there are lots of people, like headed out to the Alvord Desert. So that's just one of the beautiful pictures. quite frankly, it's not a great photograph. It's not bad. It's got some neat contrast. The details are there. The sky's good. Kind of mediocre. I'm not always going to show you the fanciest photographs. I'm going to show you what I've got. So, take the photo down. Yes, there you go, Miguel. It's down. So, I need to get the picture-in-picture thing figured out. I'll do that. So, so far as I know, get a little trouble with down there, Miguel. As far as I can tell, that's the only technical problem so far. I probably shouldn't say that because the world's going to crash any minute. So, okay. Another thing you guys have asked for is some description of how and why I take photographs. So I'm going to show you something. If it works here. Okay. That works a little better for me being here. There we go. Turn the microphone over. So this is an actual, why did you take a picture of that? On Sundays, back in the old days, I would get together with a group of people, which includes a wonderful woman whose name is Frances. Now, Frances is a very traditional woman. She's in her 80s, I believe. She is absolutely just the sweetest, kindest woman. Half Basque, just a tiny, petite, wonderful person. But she's very literal. She really likes things that are pretty and beautiful, and that's her thing. So Robert and I were talking about a road trip with her, and I showed her this photograph. So this photograph is in literally the middle of in the middle of nowhere. It's on, I believe, Highway 305. It's between Burns and Jordan Valley. And she said, so literally, she actually said this, something I hear occasionally, why did you take a picture of that? So I explained it to her. So what I love about this photograph is first the feeling. You get the sense of the Wild West, that long desert road that just goes forever and ever. They had recently blacktopped it, so the colors were cool. Just painted, and so I love the contrast of the blacks and the whites, the yellows and the blacks. But look at the sky. Just a little hint of blue in the background, how beautiful that is. And then look at the mountains below it. Those rolling hills and the different blacks and grays and the softness. There's even a little purple in there. There's just a hint of green. The sky was what I call dappled, so there is areas of white and dark and browns and darker browns and the light greens and the subtlety of that. It was so beautiful. Robert and I were driving along. I said, hey, stop. He goes, what? Look at that. He goes, look at what? It took him a minute, but then he also sensed those curvy lines and that sexy way the hill goes over. I know, I'm kind of odd. I just often describe landscapes as as sexy, but I do find the subtle curves of mountains and hills to be reminiscent of the human body, and I find that really, really beautiful. So when I take a photograph, I know that people react not with their eyes, but with their hearts. So I'm often trying to find a photograph that will stimulate some sort of feeling. This image, to me, does that. It stimulates a feeling of loneliness, but also of prospect, of future, of going forward, of moving in towards that, moving away from where you are and going forward. They call that a vanishing point of perspective, and I really, really, really do that a lot. I often photograph roads in the middle of nowhere. I also I photograph roads like downtown too. I like the shape of the lines. I'm kind of a line guy when it comes to my photographs. So I've gone long today, guys. Sorry. I hope that's all right. Again, this Herd Over Coffee is lighter and looser, and if you want to give me some help, tell me what you'd like to see more of or less of, I would greatly appreciate that. So here, I really hope picture-in-picture shows up, but I bet it doesn't. Look at that, picture-in-picture. Wonder why. So that's me down there in the corner. So this is the setup of the initial point gallery. It is in Meridian. The next screen will give you some information on this. This is a whole bunch of my work. This is me back there. I'm hanging it up there. I don't know if it'll go again. I may try to see if it can. Oh, yeah, here we go. Look at that. So this is a great gallery. I've always volunteer staff. These people are helping me hang my work. You can see it along the wall. It's a bald eagle of eagle. That pretty easy to tell how big that wild horse picture is. Oh, man. There's, I believe, 11 or 12. Oh my goodness, I gotta pop this one up just a second. I hate to get out of Tony Moody is also one of my traveling buddies. He drives like a maniac. He drives like he's 15 years old and he just got his brand new license. Rides up on people's asses. He gets there about 30 seconds before anybody else, which is really important to him. Robert and I, not so much. I want to be able to see what's out there. If I keep my eyes open, I often rubberneck and I look to right and left. It's dangerous if I drive too fast. But, you know, when you create a photograph, other people get to interpret it. So there is Tony's interpretation. All right, folks, back to the regular programming. So you can see these photographs. There are roughly 11 or 12 of them. It's a very beautiful show, and I hope that you can come and see it. I'm going to end with a photograph of what I call roving ponies in the information. The gallery reception at the initial point will be July 7th from 4:30 to 7th. It's in Meridian City Hall. And I hope that you get a chance to come see it. Again, my friends, I have missed you all, and I will be back. I promise that I will do this. Questions and comments if there's anything. If there's anything you would like to hear more of or less of, I would certainly be happy with that. I think I'm going to settle in. The tech challenges are what they are. I honestly have no idea why the picture is up on this one, but I will hope to get that. And again, thank you very much. I'll be back, and I will certainly do the Friday evening at 6:30. I truly, I appreciate you all. Stay safe, my friends. Not to get political, but if we'll all wear masks, we'll get to start going back and doing what we need. So I'm out of here. David Arte. Thank you.